Hey everybody, this is Beth Wilson, Pulaski County Horticulture Agent. I'm going to do a very quick demonstration of grafting an apple tree, and it won't take but a second, hopefully. But the basics are this. You start out with a rootstock. There's the rootstock, and this should be actively growing. And then you have pieces of scion wood. Now these have been sitting out and have started to bud out already, so I apologize for the poor quality of the scion wood, but they should have very tight buds, like you see right there. All these buds should be tight, so the scion should be dormant. And what your goal is to, when you connect to these two, is you want the meristematic region of the twigs to match, and that means just on the very outer layer of cells. When you're trying to graft, you need to look at the diameter and try to match your diameters as best you can. So this rootstock is this big, but I'm going to graft this scion to the very top. I'm going to use a very, very simple technique. It's almost foolproof, especially with apples. But I'm going to just make a clean cut on top. I'm going to do the same on the scion. Just make a clean cut, doesn't really matter where it is. And then I'm going to take my grafting knife, which the sharper the better for sure. And I don't even know what the graft is called, honestly, forgotten it, but I'm gonna go make a downward cut into the top of this rootstock. Hopefully down the middle. Sometimes I get it and sometimes I don't. So, as you can see, I've cut down in there. And then on my scion, I'm gonna make a point. So I take my knife and quickly do a couple of these things and try to make a good point that'll slide down into the cut that I made on the rootstock. So if you can see that, that's the kind of cut we're talking about. And then we're just going to place, with the help of this knife, make a little spot there. We're going to place this down in. And like I said, the diameter of both the scion and the rootstock is pretty important, so that those layers of meristematic area will intermingle with one another, and this will heal. So after you do that, that's not bad. I'm going to take my grafting tape and I'm going to start wrapping. Stretch the grafting tape. You can stretch it, and then come back down over the wound I just made. Okay, like so. Okay, and then so there's my graft, but I'm not done yet. And of course, these buds should be dormant. They're not, because I did a poor job of storing it. But I'm going to leave 2 buds, no more than 2. So there's one bud, and there's the other bud. So I'm going to cut this off right here, and then I'm going to place a little bit of this grafting tape over top of that to seal in moisture. And then we're going to wrap this up. We're going to store it. Well, we're going to make sure that the roots are covered and moistened. So with a moist paper towel, we're going to place that in a bag, but then we're going to place this whole entire thing in a black plastic bag or something, and put it in a basement, a crawl space, something like that may be, around 55, 65 degrees, something like that. And then we're just going to wait. It'll take 10 to 14 days or so. Generally, what'll happen is, if this is alive, you will see what you're seeing actually right now is the buds starting to break. But that's going to be in 10 days to 14 days with a scion that's still dormant. If this becomes, after you check 10 to 14 days, and this looks very wrinkly, that generally means that the scion is dead and that the graft was not successful down here. So that's all there is to it, and I hope you enjoyed this and hope you learned something. We generally have a grafting workshop in March every year where I supply the rootstocks and scion wood, and we have a really fun time with knives. So hope you can come to that next year.